the security situation has not yet been assessed. Secondly, it is not only the security situation, but it is also we must ask first of all what is the government's response to the government's response to the actions that have transpired in yesterday and in the killing of these however many policemen who were in fact there to arrest a known wanted criminal and was ambushed and all killed. Then it was verified, but these were MILF forces. Now, immediately we need to ask. I would like to speak to some of the leadership of the MILF. I would also like a report from the PNP as to what exactly happened and how did this come about. Because as you well know, as you have just been experiencing, we are in the middle of the discussions on the Bangsamoro, precisely as a continuing process of the peace that was started by the signing, by the peace negotiations, then the signing of the framework agreement, and finally the passage of the BBL. And this is what we are working on. How is that now going to be affected by the fact that one of the parties to this peace agreement has had this action killing government forces? That there is one side of the table wherein there is still military and violent action being undertaken against government forces. How will that affect our discussions here? That's why I think it is useful for me to talk to. I'm reaching out to the members, the leadership of the MILF, to tell me how exactly this happened and how will this affect what we are doing, because it is very difficult to negotiate a peace process when one party is still at war. And I think the very first premise is that we lay our guns down, we talk, we come to an agreement, and we implement that agreement. And if we have been driven to the first step in that process where we have not put our guns down, then there is a distinct problem in negotiating that. So that is something that really needs to be determined in the next day or two. The first thing, of course, is to find out exactly what happened, how many casualties were there, what were the circumstances of their deaths, how were by the statements made by the MILF itself, it was clear. They have said that they surrounded this force, this group of policemen, SAF, the Special Action Force of the PNP, surrounded them and killed them. And that is very hard for me to justify, because if you had surrounded them, then perhaps they should have been captured, and then we could have negotiated their release. But to have just killed them is something that is a little bit hard, I think, to understand and to justify, I believe, under the circumstances. But again, the facts are still incomplete. And so that is what we are waiting for and trying to determine how we proceed from here.
Sir, clarify lang, ang sinususpend yung hearing sa Mindanao, pero yung mga committee hearing dito magtutuloy-tuloy, sir?
Yes, as a practical matter, we will continue the hearings here in Manila, but we cannot finish the process without those hearings in Mindanao. So that essentially we are trying to do as much as we can without the Mindanao hearings. But again, we will see if how and when, or if those Mindanao hearings will continue. Simply because there's, again, as I said, the security question. And beyond that, there is the question of what are the parts that we all play in this peace process. The killing of 50 policemen certainly should not have any part in any peace process. And that is why I am Also, I have been asking what is the response of the national government to what has happened. Are we still continuing in this partnership, or will there be some questions asked on the from the national government, and how that will impact this process of legislation?
Sir, mga ilang hearing ba po nakaschedule sa...
Dalawa. Ang hearing nakaschedule ay Zamboanga at saka Hulo. Actually, ang schedule namin 4 and 5. So next week.
Yung mga source person po, mga taga-South.
Oo, kaya kami pumupunta doon dahil mahirap na ganun karami na pupunta dito at maraming gusto magsalita. At yung mga iba sa inyo na nakasama sa mga hearing na yun, na alam niyo buong araw yung ating nagiging hearing dahil sa dami dahil pinagsasalita natin lahat. So that was the original plan. Tignan natin kung mag-push through yun.
Sir, yung deadline natin sa March, mamimit ba natin? Because nadidelay nitong class.
Hindi nakakatulong ito. That's for sure. Hindi nakakatulong itong ganitong klaseng pangyayari. And I do not know precisely what exactly will happen next. It will really depend on our discussions with the MILF and with the national government on what the stance to take here. I have actually been in touch with the executive secretary, and I have been asking for the position of the national government, and I think that everyone is in the process of gathering information sa ngayon.
So, hindi natin mamimit yung target?
I don't know, but again, this does not help. This does not help. Maganda yung scheduling natin, pero kung kailangan natin mag-postpone, mapupush back talaga ang committee report sa committee dito sa dami ng committee. We had hoped to start writing the committee report after the hearings next week para maabot nga yung schedule. Kung hindi ngayon matutuluyan, then mapupush back yung ating magiging deadline.
Sir, excuse me. Sir, while we talk about the impact of the Maguindanao firefight sa peace process, can we check into apparent failure of intelligence because the staff were sent there not knowing it is a layer of rebels, and number two, that there was supposed target Zulkifli alias Marwan as a 5 million bounty and wanted by the FBI for terrorist attacks.
Well, lumalabas na ganyan because there have been situations in the past where the promise, yung inaasahan na napakalaking reward ay sumugod ang ating mga tropa na hindi anang alanganin. I do not know if that is the same case here. But again, that is why we need to know more. I have been, as I said, in touch with the executive secretary, asking him what is the stance that will be taken by the national government. Again, he has said that they are awaiting more information. I have also been in touch with DDG Espina, of the PNP, and again, talagang wala pang hindi pa kompleto ang impormasyon natin. So we'll just have to make a determination later on. Siguro later in the day mas magiging maliwanag yan pag napuntahan na yung site ng ating mga puwersa para makita kung ano ba talagang nangyari.
Sir, will there be another hearing tomorrow?
The hearing tomorrow will continue because we have asked many people to come from Mindanao. So we will continue with that. But that will at least in my and I think the constitutional questions still have to be heard. So hindi naman siguro matitigil yun. But the hearings in the South, I think we will hold in abeyance first until we know more and have decided exactly what to do with the situation at hand, because we do not know what the situation is yet.
Sir, ano magiging focus ng hearing tomorrow? May MILF?
Mukhang lahat ito yung mga naimbita for tomorrow are representatives of the sultanates, the representatives of the retired officers, some of the religious leaders who wanted to speak. So that will, I'm sure the events of the past 24 hours will come up. In fact, I intend to bring it up. Especially, we will ask now for the MILF side to send a representative so that they can explain what had happened. Yes.
Pero parang, di ba po in the past, parang lagi rin puna dun sa peace talks, parang it's not inclusive enough, meaning yung kausap mo, may kausap ka isang grupo, pero may isang grupo na laging susulpot and you will have to negotiate again with that group. Do you see that happening now? Sa tingin niyo po ba kayang lutasin ng peace talks talaga yung yung problem sa kapayapaan sa Mindanao?
Well, unang-una, it's not another group. Maliwanag na MILF dahil silang mismo nagsasabi na sila ang nakaengkwentro nitong police nung staff na puwersa. So we do not have that complication na may bagong grupo. I have been hearing reports all through the morning na paiba-iba. Na sabi MILF, sabi may BIFF, meron kung ano, so kailangan liwanagin natin na mabuti yun. How, if they are working together, what is that? How does that impact what we are doing? It just calls into question. It just calls into question the control that the MILF have over their fighters. Number one, which is something that we are counting on for the transitional disarmament after the passage and the plebiscite, the passage of the BBL and the plebiscite. So if that is something that we cannot count on, then that will certainly impact how we write the final version coming out of the Senate. Kaya ba nila talagang gawin kung hindi nila makontrol ang mga tao nila? So these are things that have to be examined fully now in light of these events.
Sir, palagi na lang yung paulit-ulit na lang yung nangyayari pagka sa MNLF, nagkaroon tayo ng peace process, tapos naghiwalay yung MILF. Sa MILF, ito naman nagkakagulo na naman. Bakit hindi gumawa ang gobyerno ng peace process to entire Bangsamoro people, hindi lang nagre-represent ng isang entity na MILF lang, tapos may susulpot na naman panibagong grupo? It's paulit-ulit na lang, sir. Wala nang katapusan.
Oo nga. I think that is a weakness also. That is something na pag-usapan na natin yan. Sabi ko, sa itong aming ginagawa, bukod sa batas, ay kailangan natin kausapin pati ang MNLF. Dahil itong BBL ay ang kaharap natin ng gobyerno ay ang MILF. Paano ngayon ang MNLF? Kagaya nga sinasabi nila, meron naman silang treaty noong 1996, which was the final agreement that was done with the MNLF, which led to the creation of ARM. So parang ang nangyari ay tinanggal na lang yung MNLF tapos ang pinalit ang MILF. So hindi rin, that's something also that has to be examined. Ngayon, the nature of these organizations, kailangan din natin tignan yun. So talagang the events of, I have to say that the events in the past 24 hours where 50 policemen were killed by the MILF, by their own statements, by the MILF, would certainly call into question how the peace process can continue if one side is still at war. So talagang masasabi ko na malaking gulo ito sa proseso ng kapayapaan. Malaking gulo itong nangyari ng ito. Hindi biro at hindi maliit na bagay ito. At hindi naman natin pwedeng ituloy-tuloy parang walang nangyari. 50 ang patay na pulis. Hindi natin basta sasabihin, sweep it under the rug. We cannot do that. The circumstances under which they died are yet unclear, but I cannot imagine, for now, a justification where 50 have to be killed. Napaligiran na nga. Sana pinusasa na lang at tinabit at kinulong at saka natin pag-usapan kung paano silang papalaya. But again, the policemen, as far as I understand, were on a mission to capture a well-known criminal terrorist and not attacking the MILF. Hindi sila pumunta ron para atakihin ng MILF. Ibang mission nila. Ang mission nila ay arestuhin itong taong ito. Ito naman ang nangyari. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.